2:23.14. Many people thinking that he might be making a tilt at that during the course of the next 2.5 hours. And Christopher Linker, well, he's won many times here in Podbrady at the international event here that's held annually, and also was second 2 years ago behind Alvaro Martin. Well, Martin, he's retired now. It leaves it open for somebody else perhaps to take the honours at this European Race Walking Team Championships. And the man who'll be leading the hopes of the local Czech team, Vítlavek. Vítlavek, very useful personal best of 2:32.50 as well. You see there, 9th place in the European Championships in Munich. That was back in 2022. So on the start line, we've got 17 women from 9 nations, 33 men from 15 nations. Well, this is the 3rd edition of the 35 kilometres on the programme for women. Only the 2nd edition for the men, as we kept with the 50 kilometres race walk back in 2021. Now the big question is, can Stano get close to his world record time of 2:23.14 set in the World Championships in 2022? Can Perez do the same, having raced to a time of 2:37.15 here 2 years ago, almost to the day? So this is the Letsky Park in the very centre of this spa town. These athletes will do 35 laps of this 1 kilometre course. C to the 4. Already the German trio of Fretzel, Hilbert and Linker. Spaniards as well up there. Lopez, Manuel Bermudez, Daniel Chamosa and Marc Tour, a quartet from Spain. At laps by the leaders, probably just outside 4 minutes. Women probably racing at about 4:30. Other people behind him. Italians packing well at the moment. This, of course, very early stages of this race. Amongst the leaders, Antonella Parmegiano, the 20-kilometre race walk champion, Olympic champion from 2021. She's making a debut at the distance, so there's a great deal of interest amongst the race walking fraternity to see how she goes. Eleonora Georgi, winner of the 50-kilometre race when it was on the programme in what was the European Race Walking Cup back in 2019. That cup, well, it dates its heritage all the way back to 1996. Good pace already from this leading group. Of course, during the course of the day, this is the first 2 events. Gold medals going in both individual and team competitions, although very much the emphasis is on the teams as well. We have at 11:25 local time, that's Central European time, 2 hours ahead of Universal Time, which used to be called GMT. 10 kilometre for women, under 20 women, coming up at 11:25. 12:35 it's the senior women's 20k. 14:45 the under 20 men's 10 kilometre race. And then the afternoon finishing off with the senior men's 20 kilometres. Comes up at 1600 local time. So just through on the first lap. There's Lopez up there, Stano up there. Most of the main protagonists. Linka just tucked in there in that group. 4:15. Pretty steady opening pace from the leading group. A leading group of 12 men. Not Tour tucked at the back as well. Well, Tour.
अगर आपको भी स्टॉक मार्केट सीखना है और इन्वेस्टिंग शुरू करनी है तो सीखो ऐप डाउनलोड कर लो। इंस्टॉल नाउ पे क्लिक करो और अभी सीखो ऐप डाउनलोड करो।
Tour. Another man who's had great success at these championships. And 4:42 for the leading women through the first lap, led through by Elena Giorgi. Quartet of Italians up the front. Maria Perez just at the back of that leading group. Just watching what the Italians are up to, no doubt. Shevchuk, who's got great credentials. Raquel Gonzalez, a silver medalist 2 years ago here as well, when the Spaniards took a clean sweep. Confirmation of the women through the first K. Lopez pushing hard at this early stage of the race. Miguel Angel Lopez, now 36 years of age. He's the world champion over 20 kilometres a decade ago, back in 2015. Led the race very well, laying down the gauntlet in Beijing to the favoured local athletes. See, tucked in there, the diminutive figure of Maria Perez. Sano, athlete the back of that pack. I'm not quite sure whether it was one of the men or the leading women who was given a warning. But, at this stage, that's just really an advisory that the judges are not happy with their technique. Two main reasons for disqualification. If you're a race walking aficionado, you'll know them already, but if you're just joining us and you're perhaps not totally familiar with the race walking rules, you can get disqualified for infractions with not having a straight leading leg, or not keeping permanent contact with the ground. So, as we were expecting, it's Lopez up there, Stano, Linka at this stage, all doing very well. There's Giorgi. Familiar sight with those sunglasses. Well, it's a little bit overcast in Podobradi this morning. expecting a little bit of rain later. So 8:21, so slightly quicker lap for Lopez. When they get to 5 kilometers, we'll have a fair assessment of what sort of pace they're at and whether Stanu's world record is indeed under threat. So Georgi up front. That is not abundantly clear who was getting the warnings. Lopez laying down the gauntlet to the rest of them. Lincoln looking very comfortable at the moment, so too Stanu, slightly shaded by the rest of them. Ben Hilmer in there as well. Ben Hilmer already had one outing over 35 kilometers this year when he improved his personal best to 2:27.51 in Dudince, another famous race walking meeting in Central Europe, just over the border in the Slovak Republic. 12:26 for that leading group. 7 men at the moment. Inside the Irishman, Joe Mooney. It's a personal best over this 35k distance of 2:40.56. So comparable in terms of times with the likes of Georgi. Nice tracking back to the leading Czech Walker, Lavach.
ग्रो पे इंट्राडे ट्रेडिंग में रोज 5x लेवरेज मिलता है, तो यहाँ पे भी 5x होना चाहिए ना। ये सब टेस्ट कर सकता हूँ क्या?
बिल्कुल सर।
टेस्ट यहाँ और लेवरेज ग्रो पे गारंटी। डाउनलोड ग्रो नाउ, ट्रेड स्मार्ट एवरीडे।
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Personal best best of 2:32. I'm sure he'd like to improve on that in front of, no doubt, family and friends out there on this course. See there's some of the wonderful buildings in Podbrady. This town, well, it can date its origins back beyond the 15th century. First entered the maps and the local record books around the mid-1400s. Italy comfortably leading the way at the moment in the team competition. It was Spain that took the plaudits 2 years ago, winning the team competition. Italy silver. At the moment it's Italy doing very well at the front in the men's competition. It's about 10 degrees out there at the moment, perhaps just fractionally cooler than they ideally would like it. 16:33 for Miguel Angel Lopez, still pushing the pace. That's a 4:13 kilometre, that's very, very good walking indeed. Georgi. Mooney alongside her. Well to her right to avoid any accusations of drafting. Nice shot there down the field. Italians there, as you just saw side by side. Cassini and Guppioni. And the men starting to lap the women, the leading men. Hilma. Now throwing down a bit of a challenge to Lopez. 42. Another quick 4:09 lap. Stano up there, Linka just drifting off the back a little bit. Sini, Laponi and Cerny bunched together as well. Some very good men being left in the shade by this very strong effort at this stage from Hilma and Lopez. Evan Dunphy setting a to be ratified world record of 2:21.40 in Budinsa back in March this year. There's the second place woman, Riazzi. Now very much a lead group of four from left to right as you're looking at them. Miguel Angel Lopez leading the way at the front. Alongside him, Hilmer, as they turn the corner. Also up there, Christoph Linker and Massimo Stauno. There's the trio behind them. Orsini, Guiponi and the Slovak Walker Cerny. Unofficially, that's a real injection of pace. That's a 4:03 lap. That is quick indeed. At the moment, these men are walking at around 224 to 225 pace. So first 5 kilometers completed. Now into 6 kilometers. Now into the 7th kilometer. Chamosa and Tour. A little bit surprised to see both the two Spaniards that far back. Nick has not really ever shown at the front, but he's such a quality athlete. You have to certainly give him a lot of respect. He's doing very, very well indeed at this stage. Trio in 5th, 6th and 7th place. Oh, just look at that. We're only 6 kilometers into the race. And Georgi is already lapping women. Hilmer still pushing the pace at the front. Now behind the medal contenders, this group of Orsini, Guiponi and Cerny. Here's the pair of Frenchmen racing together, Kevin Campion. Patriot Keenon. So far, red cards to Suskavicius and Tur for technical infringements. Flying around the circuit. The way she's going, she's looking for a big improvement on her personal best. There's Maria Perez now, starting to pull back a little bit of the deficit. Palmisano, very familiar figure. As far as I can see, not wearing any of her usual flowers in her hair. Colombini alongside her. And Perez just at the back of that three-woman group. Interlead with some of the men as well. Colombini, perhaps the less known of the quartet of Italians in the top five. Two times national champion over 10 kilometers. Fantastic history with regards to race walking. First major competition here held more than 120 years ago. So Georgi. Still Georgi very much in control of the women's race at the moment. Lopez, well, he's looking to claw back the deficit on Hilma. Hilma having just gone past Georgi. Lopez is starting to push Mota a little bit. Stanu following him. Linka, familiar, tall, long-striding figure of the German. On your TV screens, this might just look like it's a stroll in the park on an early Sunday morning, but you need to get up close and personal with these guys to realise how quickly they're moving. So that's the men's team competition. Not a great deal in it at this stage. Italy leading the way with 16. Spain 22. Germany a little bit further back at 36. So that's the 1, 2, 3 from 2 years ago, just in a very slightly different order. On that occasion it was Spain who took the honours. There's Georgi, now starting to break away from her Irish shadow. Jo Mooney, who was with her for the first 8.5 kilometres. But the man in green now unable to keep pace with Eleonora Georgi. Georgi did win when this was the European Race Walking Cup, the 50-kilometre event back in 2019. Lopez leading the chasing trio, but there's now a 19-second gap between the men in second, third and fourth, who are in single file behind Mahir Ben Hilma. 40.46 at 10 kilometres for the pole. So 19 seconds between Ben Hilma and the man you're looking at the moment, Miguel Angel Lopez. Stanu, the Olympic 20-kilometre champion in 2021, back in third now. Georgi, now 35 years of age, competes for the Fiamma Azzurri club. She's really blossomed in the last few years. Modest beginnings on the international stage. Finished back in 18th as an under-20 athlete at the 2009 World Under-20 Championships. Has since carried on improving and improving. bit of math. That's even inside 240 pace, just inside 240. Well, we've had our first man into the sin bin. Susavicius, the Lithuanian, wasn't expected to be a major contender, but he'll have a time penalty. A few other men there, including Hilmer, the race leader, having got their first red cards. 3 red cards and you end up with a time penalty, and a 4th red card means you're disqualified. And Lopez starting to push hard at the moment. So 48-46 after 12 laps, 12 kilometres for Mahir Ben Hilmer. Seven seconds in arrears for Lopez, as Stano and Linker go through the line after 12 kilometres, so more than a third of the race undergone now. Now a huge 37-second gap back to Maria Perez, who's now consolidated her position in second place. It's Ben Hilmer flying away at the moment. an outstanding race from this pole. This really is having the best race of his life at the moment. So 13 kilometers, 52.46. Yeah, let's see how far behind the likes of these men, Lopez, Stanu and Linker are. They're really working hard not to lose contact with Hilmer.
इस फ्री टूल से आप बन सकते हो एक स्टॉक सिलेक्शन प्रो इन लेस देन 60 सेकेंड्स। स्टॉक सिलेक्शन एक बहुत
Some pleasantries, perhaps a joke or two exchanged between the Czech and Ukrainian walkers.